number of oscillations per second. Heart pumps the blood to the different body organs.
Both statements aren't true, it is always true.
How are you, Tswreis? I am M.Ashok. I am studying 10th standard. I am from Palavancha Khammam district. So, Tswreis, today our subject is biological science. So, Tswreis, and our topic is circulatory system. Yes, circulatory system. So, Tswreis, before going to start our lesson, I would like to remember you the main basics of our topic. Are you ready for it? Yes. So, Tswreis, is all organisms need nutrition, liquids, gases for maintenance and growth of their body. So, Tswreis, these organisms send the food materials to all parts of the body, whether they are the multicellular organisms or unicellular organisms. If you take the unicellular organisms, it may not be transported a long distance. It uses a simple process to transport these types of food materials to all parts of the body. Then what is the process? Very good. That is the diffusion. What is that? Diffusion. Diffusion. So, Tswreis, by this process, the unicellular organisms transporting the food materials to all parts of the body. If you use this method to the multicellular organisms, what will happen? Yes, it takes more time. If it takes more time, what will happen? So, we may die. For avoiding this delay, we need a specialized system. Can you guess what the system? Very good. That is the circulatory system and our topic. So, Tswreis, in our words, circulatory system means transporting the food materials to all parts of the body. So, here the circulatory system helpful for transporting the food materials to all parts of the body. So, Tswreis, in this circulatory system, a muscular organ and pumping organ, that is heart. What is that, Tswreis? Heart. Yes, this heart pumps a liquid tissue. This heart pumps a liquid tissue. Then what is that? Very good. That is the blood. Yes, Tswreis, here in unicellular organisms, the circulatory system having a muscular organ and pumping organ, that is the heart. And this heart pumps a liquid tissue, that is the blood. And this blood transported through the channels. So, that channels we call as the blood vessels. Very good. Blood vessels. Blood vessels. Yes, Tswreis, here in unicellular organisms, the circulatory system having a muscular organ and pumping organ, that is the heart. And this heart pumps a liquid tissue, that is the blood. And this blood transported through the channels. So, the channels we call as the blood vessels. Very good. So, Tswreis, in these three, if you add these three in our daily life, the heart can be act as the motor. The heart can be act as the motors, and the blood can be act as the vehicles. These blood vessels can be act as the roads. Here, the heart act as a motor. the blood vessels can be act as the vehicle, and blood vessels can be act as the roads. So Swallows, here we call the heart as a motor. Why we call it as a motor? Very good. We call it as a motor because of it is always works, and the motor is always works. Hence we compare the heart with the motor. And here we call the blood as a vehicle. Why we call it as a vehicle? Very good. We call it as a vehicle because of it is always processed through the body, and the vehicles are also passes through the roads. Hence we compare the blood with the vehicles. Now the blood vessels. Here we compare the blood with the roads. Why we compare the blood vessels as the roads? Very good. We compare the blood vessels as the roads because of it shows the direction to the blood. It shows the direction to the blood, how to go and where to go. Hence we compare it with the blood vessels. So in this three, first of all we see the main organ. What is that? That is heart. Heart, Swallows. Without this we can't live in the world. So with that heart we can survive. So now we learn about that great mission. Are you ready for it? Yes. Heart. Yes, you all know without heart we can't survive. So Swallows, now we learn about this great heart. Yes, Swallows, first of all we learn about the nature of the heart. Nature of the heart. Yes, we are already discussed that heart is a muscular organ and pumping organ. We call the heart as also a mechanic heart and also pulsating organ. Yes, Swallows, here we call heart as a mechanic heart and we call it as a pulsating organ. Why we call it as a pulsating organ? Very good. We call it as a pulsating organ because of it produces the pulses. It produces the pulses. Hence we call it as a pulsating organ. And we call the heart as a mechanic heart. And why we call it as a mechanic heart? Very good. We call it as a mechanic heart because of it is made up of muscle. By which muscle it is made up of? Very good. It is made up of cardiac muscle. Which is made up of cardiac muscle. And the heart can also called as the mechanic heart. Mechanic heart. And also pulsating organ. Yes, we call the heart as a mechanic heart and also pulsating organ. Now we learn about the location of the heart. Location. Yes, do you know where our heart is located? Very good. Our heart is located in between two lungs. In between two lungs. So that place we call as the mediastinum. What's the word? Mediastinum. Yes, our heart is situated in between two lungs and that place we call as the mediastinum. So Swallows, our heart is protected from all the sides by the rib cage. For example, this is the skeleton. Here, this is the sternum and this is the backbone. Here our heart is located and here in between the two lungs our heart is located. So that place we call as the mediastinum and our heart is protected from all the sides by the rib cage. These are the rib cage. Yes. So Swallows, now we learn about the location and now we enter to the size of the heart. Yes. Do you know the size of the heart? Yes. Our heart is, the shape of the heart is is in the conical shape. Is in the conical shape. Conical shape. For example, this is the conical flask. Here this is the apex, yes or not? And this is the base. Yes or not? Here Tswreis, this is the conical flask, and here this is the apex, and this is the base. So whereas comes to our heart, here this is the base, but here in the conical flask the base facing downward, but whereas comes to our heart, this base is facing upward. So Tswreis, the apex of the heart is facing downward and the apex of the conical flask is facing upward. So by this we can say that our heart is in the conical shape. So Tswreis, the apex of the heart is slightly turned to the left side. It is slightly turned to the left side. So our heart is in the conical shape. So Tswreis, now we learn about the shape. Now we learn about shape, and now we enter to the weight of the heart. Weight. Do you know the weight of the heart? Very good. It is approximately 250 grams to 350 grams. So it nearly 1 pound. Yes, the nature of the heart is, a heart is called as a mesonic heart and also pulsating organ, and the location of the heart is located at the mediastinum, and the shape of the heart is in the conical shape. Here this is the conical flask, this is the apex, and this is the base. In this heart, this is the base and this is the apex. So our heart is in the conical shape, and the weight of the heart is 250 grams to 350 grams, nearly 1 pound. So Tswreis, now we enter into the, so Tswreis, here now the heart is divided into two. So now we learn about the external structure of the heart. External structure of the heart. Yes. External structure of the heart. Yes. So Tswreis, now I will show you the external structure of the heart. Look at here. Wow, what a beautiful heart it is. We are really admire the God. How did he create it? Very good. So Tswreis, here you see the external structure of the heart. So Tswreis, so this is the external structure of the heart. Here you find, here this is the coronary sulcus. What is this? Coronary sulcus, which divides the heart into 4 parts. It divides the heart into 4 parts. So upper two are the atrias and lower two are the ventricles. Upper two are the atrias and lower two are the ventricles. Yes, Tswreis, this is the right ventricle and this is the left atrium. So now you are seeing 4 parts, external structure. So Tswreis, this is the external structure of the heart. So Tswreis, now we learn about the atrias. Yes, atrias. The heart is divided into 4 parts by the deep transverse groove. So upper two are the atrias, lower two are the ventricles. So atrias are smaller than the ventricles, and we call the atrias are the receiving chambers. We call the atrias are the receiving chambers. Receiving chambers. Yes, we call the atrias are the receiving chambers. Why we call it as the receiving chambers? Very good, Tswreis. We call it as the receiving chambers because of it receives the blood from all parts of the body. Hence, we call it as the receiving chambers. And the muscles of the atrias are thinner than the ventricles. Why the muscles of the ventricles, atrias are thinner than the ventricles? Very good, because of the ventricle has to press the blood with a great pressure. Hence, the ventricles are consist of thicker muscles. So, atrias are thinner muscles. These are receiving the blood from all parts of the body. So, Tswreis, now we learn about the ventricles. Yes. So, Tswreis, heart is divided into 2 parts, 4 parts. So, lower to larger chambers are called as the ventricles. These are the ventricles. So, Tswreis, now I will show you the ventricles in the clip video. In this, yes, Tswreis, now you are seeing the heart is divided into 4 parts. Upper two are the atrias and lower two are the ventricles. Here, this is the right atrium, this is the left atrium, and here this is the right ventricle and this is the left ventricle. So, Tswreis, here we call the atrias are the receiving chambers and ventricles are the pumping chambers. So, here these are the ventricles. This is the left ventricle, this is the right ventricle and this is the left ventricle. So, Tswreis, here the ventricles are also called as the pumping chambers. Why we call the ventricles are the pumping chambers? Very good. We call it as the pumping chambers because of it pumps the blood to all parts of the body. Hence, we call it as the pumping chambers. So, Tswreis, here this is the internal structure of the heart and you are seeing here these are the atrias and this is the coronary sulcus. It divides the heart into 4 parts. Upper two are the atrias, lower two are the ventricles. We call the atrias are the receiving chambers, ventricles are the pumping chambers. Here these ventricles are pumping the blood to all parts of the body. Hence, we call it as the pumping chambers. So, here you are seeing a pipe-like structure. This is precaval vein. This is precaval vein. It collects the deoxygenated blood from superior parts of the body. It collects the deoxygenated blood from superior parts of the body. Hence, we call it as the, this carries the blood to right atrium. And here again you are seeing a pipeline structure. This is the postcaval vein. It collects the deoxygenated blood from inferior parts of the body. So, this blood is open into the same chamber, that is right atrium. So, the deoxygenated blood is collected at the right atrium. So, Tswreis, here this is the systemic aorta. This is systemic aorta. So, Tswreis, we have to remember that aorta means the largest blood vessel. Aorta means the largest blood vessel. So, this aorta is divided into arteries. It divides into arteries. So, this is the pulmonary aorta. This is the pulmonary aorta. So, it is also divides into the arteries. Right pulmonary artery, left pulmonary artery. So, this is the external structure of the heart. So, Tswreis, now we learn about the internal structure of the heart. Yes, Tswreis, the internal structure of the heart. Yes, internal structure of the heart. Yes, we are already learned that heart is divided into 4 parts. Upper two are the atrias, lower two are the ventricles. Look at here, Tswreis. This is the internal structure of the heart. This is the internal structure of the heart. Yes, these two are the atrias. These two are the atrias. And these two are the ventricles. These two are the ventricles. So, Tswreis, here the muscles of the atrias are thinner than the ventricles. Yes or not? Yes. So, why the ventricles muscles are thicker than the atrias? Very good. Because of it has to press the oxygenated blood to all parts of the body. And also here the left ventricle is larger than the right ventricle. Why? Very good. Because of it has to press the deoxygenated blood to all parts of the body. So, Tswreis, here the muscles of the left ventricle is larger than thicker than the right one. Why the muscles of the left ventricle is thicker than the right one? Very good. Because of it has to press with a great pressure, because of it is the oxygenated blood. So, it pumps the oxygenated blood to all parts of the body. Hence, it is consists of thicker muscles. So, Tswreis, now I will show you a video clip on the internal structure of the heart. Yes, wow. Look at here, Tswreis. Look at here, this is the right atrium and this is the left atrium. Look at here, how the circulation is going on. Wow. Here, these are the valves. These are the valves. Yes, this is the septum. Tswreis, this is the interatrial septum which divides the both atrias. So, Tswreis, here this is the interventricular septum which divides the both ventricles. Yes, Tswreis, that is the right atrium. So, here this blood comes to it from the precaval vein and postcaval vein. And this is the right ventricle. So, look at here, Tswreis, this is the tricuspid wall. It is present at the right atrium, in between the right atrium and right ventricle. That is tricuspid wall. Yes, Tswreis, this is the tricuspid wall. This is the tricuspid wall. Yes. So, Tswreis, here this is the tricuspid wall and yes. Look at here, Tswreis, the circulation is going on. And here this is the left atrium and this is the left ventricle. So, in between these two, the left atrium and left ventricle, a valve is presented. Then what is that? Yes, that is the bicuspid wall. Tswreis, this is the bicuspid wall. It opens. Yes, this is the bicuspid wall. It is present at the in between left atrium and left ventricle. So, look at that, Tswreis. This is the bicuspid wall. It is also called as the mitral valve. Yes, look at here. So, Tswreis, here these two are the AV valves, that means atrioventricular valves. Here these are the AV valves and also called as the atrioventricular valves. Look at there. So, Tswreis, here this thread-like structure we call as the cardia tendineae. which is connected to the apices of the papillary muscles and to the tricuspid wall. So, this caudate tendon is helpful for opening and closing of the tricuspid wall. Yes. So, Tswreis, here the inner surface of the ventricle is raised into the conical shape. So, that are called as the papillary muscles. We are already discussed, that is papillary muscle. Yes, this is the caudate tendon and this is the papillary muscles. Here the valves are open. Here the valves are open. Yes, Tswreis. Here this is the pulmonary aorta. So, we have to understand that trunk or aorta or arch, these all are gives the same meaning. That means, if you say aorta, it is the correct one. So, this is the pulmonary aorta which divides into arteries. So, which carries the deoxygenated blood to lungs. This is the systemic aorta. Look at here, Tswreis. This is the systemic aorta which carries the oxygenated blood to all parts of the body. Look at there. This is the pulmonary wall. This is the pulmonary wall and this is the aortic wall. So, from this wall, the oxygenated blood goes through this and from this aorta. So, by this the oxygenated blood supplies to all parts of the body. And yes, Tswreis, these are the aortic wall and this is the pulmonary wall. Look at there, how they are functioning, opening and closing, opening and closing. Yes, this is the aortic wall, this is the pulmonary wall. So, from this the oxygenated blood supplies to all parts of the body and from this the deoxygenated blood is supplied to both the lungs. So, here these are the AV valves. Here these are the AV valves and this is the cardiac tendon. This is the cardiac tendon which is connected to the papillary muscles. To the papillary muscles. Yes. Now the heart wall. Yes, look at here, Tswreis. We are already discussed. The wall of the atrial is thinner atrial wall and this is the thicker ventricular wall. So, here the ventricular wall is thicker than the atrias. Why it is? Yes, because of it pump the blood to all parts of the body with a great pressure. Hence, it is consist of thicker muscles. So, Tswreis, here this is the atrial wall and this is the ventricular wall. So, this is about the heart wall and look at here, this is the internal structure of the heart. So, here this is the left ventricular wall and this is the right ventricular wall. So, here we can observe that the wall of the ventricles is thicker than the right ventricle. Why it is? Yes, very good. Because of it pumps the oxygenated blood. It pumps the oxygenated blood to all parts of the body. Hence, it is consist of thicker muscles. Yes. Look at here, Tswreis. This is the SA node. This is the SA node. So, which protects it generates the action potentials. It generates the action potentials. So, that action potentials are reached to both the atrias. Reached to both the atrias, which makes the both atrias to contract simultaneously. Which makes the both atrias to contract simultaneously. So, here this is the AV node. This is the AV node, that means atrioventricular node. So, Tswreis, here the action potential from the SA node reaches the AV node. So, from that the action potentials are reached to both the ventricles by the bundle of His and from the Purkinje fibers. So, which makes the both ventricles to contract simultaneously. So look at here, Tswreis, how it is going on.